Christi here with Little Salty Homesteader. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome into my office actually today. It is a rainy, cloudy, muddy, icky, sort of hoodie weather kind of day outside. So today what I'm going to actually do is do a check-in on my 2024 garden goals and then catch you guys up on the other projects that aren't necessarily garden related but kind of homesteading related because it's my other hobby craft thing. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So earlier this year I put out a video detailing all of my different gardening goals for this year, kind of talking about what I hoped for the season and what I was striving towards. So I wanted to kind of check in on that, let you guys know how that's going, if I'm meeting all my goals, if I need to do some more improvement or anything like that. So the first goal that I had, which honestly is my number one goal every year, not just in gardening, but in my entire life because I'm kind of a hot mess, stay organized. So the first subtask for that goal was to maintain my garden log and my seedtime.us account. So I'm about 50-50 on that one. The garden log, I'm really good at logging when I start seeds and when I transplant things, but I am not so great at tracking when I fertilize, when I do any sort of pruning, when I have pest problems that I need to treat. I'm not great at the maintenance task logging, but everything else I have been really consistent with. I am also kept up with my seedtime.us. Every day I get a notification from the app that tells me, hey, check in here. So I open it up and it tells me these are the things that you need to do today. And I also used the seedtime.us planting calendar to figure out the entire fall and winter garden planting dates. And I have been following that very meticulously. So we're gonna go 50-50 on that simply because of those maintenance tasks that I am just not good at logging. I start off really good and then there's just so many different tasks and some things get fertilized and other things don't. Some things have pests and some things don't, that it's not like just copy and paste an entire spreadsheet over. So 50-50. The second goal, grow enough tomatoes to preserve. Now, actually, back to the organization one, see, hot mess. The second subtask for that was continue to keep seed inventory. My Google document that has my entire seed inventory is 100% complete and up to date, including the most recent Hoss Tools order that I unboxed for you guys in a video. This binder here has the vegetable and herb seeds, and the blue one right here has all of my flower seeds, filed away, categorized properly. The binder works the best for me because I need to be able to see it. Otherwise, I forget that it exists, and other storage methods, things get stacked on top of each other, and I ended up with way too many duplicates that way. So I actually have a video about that too somewhere on my channel if you want more details on how to organize your seeds within 3-ring binders. And then the third subtask is put my tools away. I have a 5-gallon bucket with a padded seat type lid. That stores most of my gardening tools if they're like the handheld size. Obviously a full-size shovel and hoe I can't fit in my bucket, but everything else is in there, along with fertilizers and my gloves and the Farmer's Defense sleeves that I have. All of that's in the bucket. Whenever I go out to do gardening, I just carry the bucket with me, pull out what I need, put it back, bring the bucket back inside. I bring the bucket inside because I don't want the weather to pull off all the stickers because that's where I'm putting my sticker collection. Otherwise, I would just leave it on the patio and just grab it when I need it. But this makes sure that I stay diligent with putting my things away because I can be messy and not put my things away. So goal number 2, grow enough tomatoes to preserve. This is the first year that I actually have been able to preserve anything out of the garden that wasn't dehydrated. In previous years, I have dehydrated a few things, mainly herbs and cherry tomatoes and red pepper to crush up for spice reasons. But I was able to do water bath canning for tomatoes. I made okra pickles, pickled banana peppers, I made a green tomato relish, I made refrigerator pickles, I did a roasted cherry tomato confit that's actually in the refrigerator for me to use for various things. The different types of tomatoes that I was able to can this year was crushed tomatoes, roasted, like fire roasted tomatoes, which was really just oven roasted tomatoes, and then diced tomatoes. So all of those are in the pantry. I'm going to insert pictures of the stuff that I have preserved right here. So you can also see the dehydrated cherry tomatoes that I have there in the quart-sized jar, and the cow peas that I am adding to over time as they dry out on their tray in my kitchen. So I am going to give a 90% to the grow enough tomatoes to preserve thing, simply because I was not able to preserve any salsa. All salsa that I made, we ate fresh right away. Salsa only lasts like 2 days here. We just like to eat it. So 90% on that one. The next goal on my list was grow more okra. I did grow more okra. The subtask for this was to figure out how to safely freeze. There hasn't been enough to freeze. We eat it so quickly. This is probably the second favorite summer vegetable for me. It's probably my husband's first favorite. He doesn't care about tomatoes nearly as much as I do. So as soon as I have enough okra to cook, then I cook it. I did make the 4 pints of okra pickles, but other than that, we have just been cooking and eating it fresh. I probably could put some back and freeze it for some type of usage, or dehydrate some for like future gumbo or something. But because we've just been eating it fresh, I'm only gonna give this 50%, because even though I'm growing more, I haven't frozen any. So I'm halfway there, y'all. Okay. The next goal, number 4, is improve pepper production. I'm going to give that one 100% because I have had an amazing pepper year. You guys have seen all the bell peppers if you've watched the weekly updates. Those things have just been absolutely out of this world amazing. Banana peppers, I had so many that I had to just cut the plants down because I had far more than I could use realistically. Jalapenos, serranos, cayennes, all of those are doing absolutely wonderfully right now. They were more of a late season production, but they're off to the races now. So I'm going 100% on that one, because compared to the peppers that I got last year, y'all, okay, I haven't had to buy peppers for any sort of reason in several months, so I'm very happy. The next one I'm giving 100% to, because when I wrote out my 2024 gardening goals list, it was in January, and I think I either made the video in January or February, but this goal, when I made this goal, I did not have the 3 raised beds that make up the tomato patch. That was all grow bags there. 7 and 10 gallon grow bags made up those rows. So this goal is to get rid of the grow bags where possible and get more raised beds. So 100% on that. There's 3 incredibly long raised beds there. I was able to move my tomatoes completely out of grow bags into those raised beds. It was a much better tomato production year because I was able to do that. The second subtask for that goal was to actually write more articles and film more videos, 100% on those. I submit articles to Vigo Garden once a month, and I have several published now. I will actually be submitting another one here in just a little while and then film more videos. I am up to 3 videos per week that are being consistently filmed, edited, and posted all by me. So 100% on that one. Number 6, I'm at 0%, simply because we have had higher priority items on our honey-do list, including renovating this office, reorganizing it. It's a hot mess right now. So this goal is to fix the greenhouse. Ultimately, we decided that we are just going to tear it down and rebuild it completely from scratch. But that has been moved down the list because other requirements are taking precedence. We need to install some shelving in our laundry room / pantry. This house is kind of unique in that the pantry and laundry room are the same room, but I need more shelving in there. We also need to build some bookshelves in here for the office, because as you can see, I have a lot of books. This isn't even all of them. There's a whole other shelf over there on the other side of the room that is completely full. No more will fit. That's why these are on here. And then we need to do some other tasks in this office to kind of get it under control. So 0% on fixing the greenhouse, but we'll get there eventually. And then number 7 is probably the most obvious part of the gardening goal list, and it is simply to grow more food, more beautiful things, and more joy. I'm giving myself a 300% on that because each of those 3 tasks I completed successfully, absolutely. So I have gotten so much more food out of my garden this year compared to years past. There were some crops that did not do well for me. The squashes and cucumbers, I'm looking at you guys, but tomatoes, peppers, okra, basil, all of those did phenomenally. Cowpeas, still doing phenomenally. More beautiful things. I have so many more flowers. My sunflower patch was so joyful. The zinnias are out there putting on a beautiful, colorful show. I have some perennials out there feeding the carpenter bees. So definitely 100% on that. And then grow more joy. Every time I am in my garden, I am substantially happier. So 300% on goal number 7. So that was all of the gardening goals for 2024. Anything from staying organized to being happy. So overall, doing pretty good at achieving all of the goals on this list. There's one that I'm not going to be able to achieve this year, but that's okay. When I create lists like this, I go into the list knowing that not everything is always possible, but I should try to get as much of it done as I can. So for the other portion of this video, where I'm just catching you guys up on the other projects that I'm working on, in a previous video very early on in this year, I believe whenever I was starting nasturtium seeds for the spring garden, I talked about how one of my other hobbies is crochet and how I listen to a lot of audiobooks and how I was integrating the 2 of those to create a book blanket, which essentially means that for every book that I read, I make a little crochet square, kind of signifying that book. So the colors that I choose for each of the square come directly from the cover of the book. These are all audiobooks this year because my time is limited and I can listen to audiobooks while I'm working, gardening, waiting in the car to pick up the kids, at the grocery store. You know, I can listen to audiobooks all the time except when I'm sleeping, but I can't always sit down to read a physical book. As much as I'd like to finish that series, it's going to take me like 7 million years. So, see if I can show you guys as much of this as possible. So, this is the book blanket that I have. So far, I have completed 75 audiobooks this year. I am in the process of listening to audiobook number 76. My blanket has 75 squares. So this bottom row isn't complete yet, but it is partially complete. I'll show you guys here. So maybe that's 76. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's 76. I'm on book 77. Excuse me. Once I am over 50% through with the book, I will go ahead and make the square and attach it. There have been 3 books this year that I did not finish. I Either the narration was just entirely too slow and I could not get into the book, or the book was poorly written, or it just could not grab my attention in any way. Because even though I am multitasking when I'm listening to these audiobooks, I at least want to pay attention enough to know what the story is about. Many of these books within this were books that were on reading lists from the local library here. Every year they kind of do like a reading challenge, and they give you a whole list of categories to read books from, and you fill out the paper for, you know, let's say the title, or let's say the category was a book with a cat on the cover. So then you go find a book that has a cat on the cover and you write down the title of the book. You fill out the entire list. It's probably 20 books long, and you turn it in, and then you get a t-shirt. I completed it last year. I've almost completed it this year. There's one graphic novel category that I need to wind up and finish. But that one's going to be a sit down and read it type, so I may not finish that this year, but we'll see. Anyway, if you complete it, you turn it in, you get a t-shirt. And so I have one t-shirt. I'm hoping for another one, because who doesn't love free t-shirts? And you're supporting your local library so they can continue to get more and better resources and all of that stuff. So it's kind of a win-win. So 76 squares in. It's really cozy and really warm. It's now big enough to use as a blanket while I work on the blanket. So that's pretty incredible. The kids use it on the couch. The dog lays on it. All of those things. There are still some things to finish off here, like where all my squares are joined. I need to tighten that little hole so my toes don't get stuck in it. But overall, I'm really happy with this. It's so colorful and so organized chaos like that. It kind of inhabits my personality pretty perfectly. So the next crochet project that I'm actually working on, I'm kind of under the gun because I decided on a whim that I'm going to make my husband a temperature blanket for Christmas. Now, a temperature blanket basically signifies the temperature over a year time frame. Each day, the high or low or average, whichever temperature you decide to go with, and you just kind of plot out the entire year and crochet it up. There's many different patterns. The option that I'm going with is going to be little squares like this, and I am doing the first year of our marriage, and I have 13 different colors of yarn, and I created temperature ranges for each of the colors and kind of plotted it out. This is not what its final version is going to look like. This is just me trying to figure it out in my head so that as I'm working on it, I can kind of refer to this and make sure I'm on the right track. I have ordered all the yarn. It came today. It's really beautiful. I'll insert the picture of the color palette here. It's not like a rainbow. A lot of people will just do a rainbow, but we really love blues and greens, and like kind of more muted, not necessarily super bright colors. So I'm going to insert that picture of the color palette here so you can see. So I'm gonna start this today actually while I'm waiting in the pickup line to pick up my kids. Hopefully I can get it done by Christmas. One of the sort of neat things that I'm going to do with it is on the important days. So like our wedding day, I'm going to actually make that square using the low temperature and the high temperature, so it'll be stripes of low and high. And then I'm going to do the same thing for our birthdays and then our kids' birthdays. So we'll have 6 days in there that will look a little bit different than the rest of the squares, so that we'll be able to, you know, kind of identify the important days of the year. I have made my husband a blanket before, not a temperature blanket. I've never made a temperature blanket. This is going to be a new project for me, but I like the big projects like this because it gives me something to do with my hands. It doesn't necessarily require my full mind. So, you know, whenever I'm waiting in the line to pick up the kids, or I'm sitting on the couch watching TV or whatever, I can do things like this and still be able to relax in a way, because I'm a super busy person, if you haven't figured that out about me. So it's kind of nice to have that kind of wind down time. And the blanket that I made my husband before, while it is pretty warm and cozy, he wants something like a little bit bigger so that he can just really wrap up in it and be like a Jacob burrito. So I think with this, that will definitely accomplish that. So really excited to see how it turns out. Of course, I'll update you guys. Like I said, I'm kind of pushing it to the max here because I want this to be done by Christmas. We'll see. But anyway, that is catching you guys up on garden goals and other projects. Hopefully we are in the fall temperatures now and things start to cool down. Full hoodie weather is my absolute favorite weather of all the weather. There's something about just a cozy hoodie. So hopefully we get more of those days, and hopefully we'll be out in the garden later this week to talk about some more garden related stuff. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you liked today's really random video, then feel free to like and subscribe and do all those different YouTube-y things. Otherwise, until next time, go find a way to get those garden manicures, unless it's raining outside, and then snuggle up in a hoodie.